Hello everyone, this is R.S. Miller at the endtimenews.org and today is October 8th, 2013. This is your Fast Track Report. As the world appears entranced by the prospect of a peaceful solution to the Syrian chemical weapons crisis, President Bashar al-Assad takes advantage of the situation in order to retake control of his country. The death toll continues to mount and the war goes on. According to NKorea, Assad's forces on the offensive to retake Syrian Golan and re-control border with Israel. 2 Syrian armored brigades set out from Damascus Monday night, October 7th, to link up with forces already fighting in southern Syria to reach Quneitra opposite the Israeli Golan border. NKorea's military and intelligence sources report long convoys of around 200 tanks, armored personnel carriers, armored vehicles, and self-propelled artillery are heading for an assembly point south of Dareh area in the south. Monday night, the Syrian Air Force bombarded rebel-held border villages to soften them up ahead of the offensive. The size and movements of the advancing Syrian forces indicate that the regime in Damascus has determined to root out the rebel presence in all parts of Syrian border with Israel, from the Hermon Mounts in the north down to the Syrian-Israeli-Jordanian border junction opposite the southern Israeli Golan. The main body is presently on the move in the area between Yarmouk River, which marks the Syrian-Jordanian border, and Quneitra. The Syrian rebel forces clinging to small locations along the Israeli border are small and not expected to last long under such a sizable Syrian military assault. Until now, the Syrian High Command held back from a military operation in this region for fear of drawing forth an Israeli or Jordanian counterattack. However, after consenting to the disabling of its chemical weapons, the Assad regime feels confident that neither Israel nor Jordan would dare to fight back. On another front, Syrian warplanes raid border area inside Lebanon. Lebanon's President Michel Sleiman on Tuesday criticized Syria for a cross-border raid that he said targeted an ambulance in the east of the country, causing no injuries. Local officials said the attack was carried out on Monday night by Syrian warplanes that fired at an area in the Arsal region of Lebanon, which has regularly been targeted by cross-border strikes. In a statement, Sleiman said an ambulance was targeted by Syrian rockets and called for humanitarian bodies to be protected from conflict and hostilities. Local officials confirmed the attack. Syrian warplanes targeted an ambulance in Wadi Hamid area of Arsal, but there were no injuries, an official told AFP on condition of anonymity. A security source said warplanes had fired a total of 5 rockets in the attack. Meanwhile, Syrian activists said on Tuesday that government airstrikes targeted rebel positions near the strategic northern city of Ma'aret el-Numan. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says the airstrikes were followed by heavy clashes and said there were casualties in the fighting, but gave no specific details. Rebels captured Ma'aret el-Numan about a year ago. The city is strategic because it sits astride a major supply route linking the capital Damascus with Syria's largest city and commercial hub, Aleppo, in the north. In other news, North Korea has placed its military on high alert and warned of disastrous consequences in response to a United States-led military drill near the North Korean peninsula. A North Korean military spokesman told state media on Tuesday that all troops have been ordered to keep themselves ready to promptly launch operations at any time. South Korean Defense Ministry spokesman Kim Min-seok confirmed North Korea's military has been placed on high alert. Our armed forces are closely monitoring the North Korean military's movement and are fully prepared to take a decisive action against the North's possible provocations, said Min-seok. The threat comes as the U.S. moved a group of ships to the South Korean port of Busan for what officials describe as a routine search and rescue drill. Pyongyang seems to be particularly upset about the participation of the USS George Washington, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. An article by the Korean Central News Agency, KCNA for short, claimed that the ship was carrying at least 100 nuclear bombs on board. The KCNA further warned that the closer that U.S. forces get to North Korea, the more unpredictable disasters their action will cause. Pyongyang often threatens military action in response to U.S. South Korean exercises, but rarely follows through. Leonid Petrov, a Korean analyst at the Australian National University, told Voice of America News that he views the threat as part of a seasonal type of escalation. Every time the United States and the Republic of Korea's naval and aerial exercises take place on the southern side of the peninsula, the North Koreans take it very seriously, explained Petrov. Petrov also said North Korea views the drills as preparation for an invasion, a sentiment he said reflected the ongoing tensions surrounding the Korean War. The Korean War is technically still going on, and every time the military on one side or the other is beefing up its forward deployed military, the other side reacts and sometimes overreacts, said Petrov. Friends, in Luke chapter 21, Jesus said, "And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them from fear and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory." Now when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. And in verse 32 he says, "Assuredly, I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all things are fulfilled." What Jesus is saying is that many of the events we are now witnessing in the daily news are signs that we are living in the last days, and that his return is soon. Unprecedented earthquake swarms, strange and unusual activity in the heavens and the solar system, nations in distress with perplexity as they attempt to solve the world's problems, and even the climate having gone wild, indicated by the seas and the waves roaring, are all signs of the last days. And then in verse 36, Jesus commands us to watch, therefore, and pray always, that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. That, my friends, is a command. And even though it may be distasteful and even fearful for some concerning the coming events of the end times or that great tribulation period, we are to keep watch in any case. For our own sakes, we keep watch so that we are not caught off guard, and for the sake of others who simply do not believe. Perhaps our watchfulness will give them light, remove the veil from their eyes, and perhaps they will be able to see. So let us encourage one another with the hope we have in Jesus Christ. Let us watch and pray always that we are found worthy, and let us spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to the world, so that as many as possible receive salvation. If you are not saved, but have a desire to give your life to the Lord, to receive the assurance of eternal salvation, then follow the link in the box below and sincerely pray the prayer, and you will be saved. May God bless you all.